about to hit the practice field. So we got to get him in and out so he can get back to these kids.
I'm excited to be here, man. I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Coach, talk to us about what last week meant to you. I mean, this senior class, it was talked about all week, probably all year.
Yeah.
They were determined to not be the first class in South Pointe High School history to not win a state championship. Tell us a little bit about that journey and what that meant to you as their coach.
Yeah, you know what? That's pressure, man. That's pressure, man. But by the grace of God, we got it done. So I thank Him for that. We're that was it. I think just in Rock Hill, South Carolina, it's a recipe. It starts with our little league football programs, our travel football programs. The standard is high, starting at the age of 5. That in Rock Hill, you got to win, and you got to win big. The tradition of state championships, the tradition of Division I football players to NFL players, that's there. So I think getting guys up for big games, that's something we don't have to do as head coaches. I don't think those stages are too big for our players. And if you want to compete and want to do it at a high level, you come to Rock Hill, South Carolina to get it done.
Yeah. And what was interesting, Coach, Jordan, I was actually interviewing Anthony Baxter and Jazavian after the game. And, I asked them both the same question. What was the special moment this season in the process? Because once you get there, it's kind of like y'all expect to be there. Y'all expect to win that. But you know what both of them said? That win over Northwestern.
Yeah, the win over Northwestern was different just because we were down. And I think at that point, you saw, in my opinion, the best player in the country kind of put us on his back, from 2 touchdowns towards the end, big interception. Man, when he tossed that ball to R.J. Brown, it was 3D linemen on us. I was telling my O-line coach it looked like we had a screen call because we didn't block anybody. Mm-hmm. So, you had 3 or 4 guys on him, and he's hurtling out of there, and he throws it out there, a little shovel pass to R.J. Brown. R.J. makes a move, get in the end zone. Caden Watkins, I think people don't talk about it enough. In the end, Caden Watkins with the big interception, they put trips to one side. They throw the ball to Cameron Vance, who in my opinion is one of the best players in the state of South Carolina at the wide receiver spot. And Caden Watkins comes down with an interception in the end zone. It's solidified to me what we do at practice, I think, and I'm going to stand on it to this day. We had the best defense in the state. Just how we challenge those guys in film and in walk through and in weightlifting and in sprints. So I think, yes, that was a turning point for us. I also think West Charlotte High School, you're playing a real tough football team. We didn't score any points in that game. And we blocked the field goal in overtime, and then we kicked the field goal to win it 10-7. Jazavian picked the ball off and went for 80 yards for a touchdown. But, it was us, it was a humbling point for our offense to say, hey, we got to go back to the drawing board and get some things done to be able to figure out a way to get some wins.
Yeah. And one thing, Jordan's a former player in this game and played quarterback. So, Jordan, I know you probably got some questions about Jazavian and Coach's journey up until this point to make it to this game as an honor to be selected to coach in this game. Jordan, you have a couple questions for Coach.
First off, if I want to ask every question, he'd be here all day. He wouldn't make practice or the game.
Without a doubt.
My last game was against you guys in third round of the playoffs when y'all had Darren Kendrick, Stephen Gilmore, all those. I think Little Currents was on that team too and stuff too. So you kind of look at Little Currents and you look at his brother and stuff too, and how it goes full circle. And it's like, man, Jazavian, I think that play I think it went viral and stuff too of how he made the play. And some kids just make plays that other kids can't, right? It kind of remind me of Darren Kendrick, right? It was like, we weren't a bad team. Now we weren't their speed and stuff, but Darren Kendrick made us look like JV kids a lot. And stuff. A lot of stuff got away. And Jazavian reminds me of that. To see him go to South Carolina, stay in the state, I think is huge. And I'll tell you this, I think he, I don't want to put any pressure on the kid and stuff. I think he's an NFL guy. I think he's playing on Sundays. He's long, he's rangy and stuff. What have you seen through him the past 4 years and stuff too that people may not know out there a little bit?
Yeah, I'm fortunate. I got some sons, 2 personal boys. My oldest son played for me last year, played in the Shrine Bowl, was at Navy. Then I got a 10th grade son that's going to be offensive lineman for us next year, probably at the center spot. And, when we go lift weights or we go to the field and work out, it could be 100 degrees outside. And he'd be like, man, Dad, it's hot. Why are we going out here to lift? And what we, man, I'm just tired. Can we just do this on another day? And then as we're pulling into the school, we'll look out there on the field and it's Jazavian and his dad. And I'll point out to him, I say, yo, don't ever think you're not the guy that's working. So what I contribute to Jazavian is his humbleness and how hard he works. He's not going to come in the next day and tell his teammates, well, man, me and my dad was out here working, or I'm doing this, or I'm doing that. He's a humble kid. You know, he doesn't miss a lift. He doesn't miss a sprint. He's not a training room guy. He's catching reps on both sides of the ball. He's watching film on both sides of the ball. But again, he's not talking about that. He's not bragging about that. I think he's humble. He's hardworking. I think Coach Beamer and those guys are getting a good one, and the legacy of, you know, future high-level Division I guys and, you know, future NFL guys. You know, he's on the board with the rest of those guys came out of South Point.
Handles his business.
Correct,
man.
Blue-collar worker, man. Brings his hard hat to work every day.
I think that speaks to South Point as a whole. You know, Stephen Gilmore and B.J. Davis, they were my roommates down here at this game. And the way they were wired and stuff. I remember that game, like Stephen Gilmore and B.J. was playing safety. Stephen was going back on both, and like the way they were wired, like it was the next rep mentality every single time. And it was, you know, I think there was a hitcher out on that field and stuff too. And I missed it. And I don't know. Steve came in and like, you know, normally sometimes he was like, you know, we'll get it, you know, in 4 more reps like this. He was like, we're going back and stuff. And every time, not to keep harping on 2017, but it speaks to all your kids as a whole. I mean, every rep that Stephen Gilmore had and stuff, he would catch the ball and he would run all the way down the field to the other end zone.
Yeah.
And I've never seen that before and stuff too. But man, what you guys have done and built to get back on top, you know, man, it's got to be a great feeling.
Oh, great feeling, man. Great feeling. Like I said, you know, every head coach there is 1-1. I definitely didn't want to be left out of that deal. But, you know, in the city of Rock Hill, and I heard Paige Walford said that Northwestern won, you know, 2 state championships. So hats off to Paige. You know, he does an excellent job over there at Northwestern High School. So, but again, you know, you take a week off and you back in the lab. You know what I mean? That's the standard. You know, that's the standard. Our kids know when we get back in January, first block, we have football class. And it's a 12-month process. And I think our success this year here past was, you know, how hard we worked in the weight room. Coach James West is our strength coach / psychiatrist. You know, he minds the meal. So you know, hats off to him, man. We wouldn't be here. We wouldn't win a state championship without him. I sincerely think he's the best in the business. But for any younger athletes out there, it starts in the weight room. It starts in the offseason.
Exactly right.
Coach, we got to get you to practice. You're about to go coach up these boys for some of them, maybe their last time as a high school student. And that's so special for them to be playing in this game. But tell us real quickly, what did it mean to you when you got selected to coach in this game?
I'm going to tell you, it's the biggest honor for me. I played in this game in 1998. I'm from Sumter, played at Sumter High School, played for Tom Lewis at Sumter. And I played in this game in 1998. Still have friends from this game. Think it's the best all-star game ever. And it's an honor. It's an honor to be down here in Myrtle Beach, to be working with the men that I'm working with and the players, you know, the other coaches from the South at Sumter. I played in the South, but, you know, it's just such great camaraderie, just so much pride in what we do here in this state. I coached in North Carolina for 10 years, and then now I'm on year 12 here in South Carolina. So, you know, to be back home, to be coaching football, to be able to win a state championship and coaching this game all in the same year, man, you know, it's just for all the non-believers, God is real, man. It's just true blessing, blessing.
Coach, thanks for joining us.
Yes.
Appreciate
you. Thank you, man. Y'all keep doing the good work. Thank you.
Thank you.
For the glory of a 4-quarter Friday.